Okay, so this video is to explain your second assignment for this week. If you go to the week 3 folder and you click where it says day 3 through 4, 11.5 through 11.6, and yeah, it'll be published by the time you see this video. And you click where it says assignment, major grade, you will find this assignment, the 30 Pilgrim assignment. And obviously, the video that I'm doing right now is going to be placed in this post, the 30th Pilgrim directions. This is just the directions for the assignment, and then this is the assignment itself. Please note that this is a major grade, so I will be checking regularly to see that this is done. This is due no later than Friday. If you need more time to get it done, of course, just contact me and let me know so that I can see to it that you get more time for it. But anyway, okay, so this is the assignment. You're going to imagine that you are an additional traveler with the folks that are headed to the Canterbury Cathedral. So, how would Geoffrey Chaucer describe you if he were adding you as a character in the general prologue? So, I know that you haven't started reading the Canterbury Tales yet, um, but you should have finished the one pager assignment or be well on your way to finishing it. So, you should have some historical context and some understanding of the Canterbury Tales. Again, this is based off of the assumption that you have done the one pager assignment. So if you haven't done that yet, I would recommend that you do that. Okay, so your profile um, needs to refer to you by a descriptor, kind of like the travelers that Chaucer describes. And in the prologue, he's describing a knight, a squire, a nun, and you should try to mimic his poetic style. I'm saying try to because it's not a requirement that you rhyme. The Canterbury Tales was originally written in Middle English and it rhymed, but when it was translated to the English that we currently use now, modern English, um, it it doesn't translate well. The rhyming doesn't translate well. So I'm not expecting your profile to rhyme. However, if you can fit in a rhyme or two, that would be pretty neat. Okay, so your profile introduction needs to be 20 lines. It needs to include a physical description of yourself, as well as a description of your personality and why you are taking the journey. Why are you on the pilgrimage to the cathedral? So this is a example from the from the Canterbury Tales. I'm actually going to go through this example with you, but first I want to show you the rest of this handout that is in Schoology. As you can see, this is the graphic organizer that you can use to count your lines to make sure that you have as many lines as you're supposed to. You're supposed to have 20 lines. And you could actually just type in your profile here. And of course, you would go to File, and then you would go to Download, and then PDF in order to submit it for this assignment. But before we get back to all of that, let's go to the sample on the Miller. And so first we're going to talk about this example, and then I'm going to show you how I came to write mine, which is down here. Okay, but first let's go up here and let's look at this example. So as you can see, I've already boxed off some words. And these are words that I'm not sure if we're all familiar with them. So as I go, I am going to look those words up. All right. So by the way, what the app that I'm using right now is called Cami. I'm not sure if you can get it if you have a student issued or school issued laptop, but if you have your own laptop, you might be able to find this app. Anyway, okay. The miller was a stout fellow indeed. He was very strong of muscle and also of bones. That was well proven, for wherever he came, at wrestling, he would always take the prize. He was stoutly built, broad, a large-framed fellow. There was no door that he would not leave off its hinges, or break it by running at it with his head. His beard was red as any sow or fox, and moreover broad, as though it were a spade. Upon the exact top of his nose he had a wart. Thereon stood a tuft of hairs, red as the bristles of a sow's ears. His nostrils were black and wide. All right, I want to stop there for a second. Okay, so SOW. What is that? So, um, okay, because they say as red as any sow or fox. And I know that a fox is a noun, person, place, thing, or idea. A fox is a thing. That I am going to assume that when we say so, in this sense, we are referring to a female pig. So his beard was as red as any adult female pig. Okay. And then here, more of a broad, as though we talk about his beard. His beard was as red as any pig or fox, and moreover, it was broad. It was big, as though it were a spade. What is a spade? I think I have an idea, but let's see. Here we go. A tool with a sharp edge, typically rectangular, metal blade, long handle for digging or cutting earth. Um, a spade sounds like a shovel. So what they're saying is that his beard was as red as a fox or a pig and as broad as a shovel. Okay. Upon the exact top, okay, I already read that part. His nostrils were black. I read that part. He wore a sword and a buckler by his side. His mouth was as large as a furnace. His mouth was as large as a large furnace. He was a loudmouth and a buffoon. I think buffoon means that he was like kind of a clown, a fool, but let's double check. Yeah, I just said a clown. So it doesn't necessarily mean that he's stupid, but that he jokes around a lot, um, and that others must have found him funny. Okay, he was a loudmouth and a buffoon, and that was mostly of sin and deeds of harlotry. And I'm pretty sure this has to do with like messing around with women, but huh, no definitions found. I guess that means I have to go to the dictionary. Harlotry. Prostitution. Oh, I was right. Had to do with women. Okay. So now we know what harlotry is about. And that was mostly a sin and the deeds of harlotry, meaning that he must have often seen prostitutes. He well knew how to steal corn and take payment 3 times, and yet he had a thumb of gold indeed. He wore a white coat and a blue hood, and well knew how to blow and play a bagpipe. And with that, he brought us out of town. Okay, so we looked up the words that we didn't know. And now I am going to kind of break this down. So we know that we are looking for 3 different things, right? We're looking for physical traits, we're looking for personality traits, and we're looking for why he is on the trip. I think it would be really easy just to start. Um, let's go to why he's on the trip. He well knew how to blow and play a bagpipe. With that, he brought us out of town. So I'm going to be completely honest. This really doesn't tell us a whole lot about why he where's the highlighter? This really doesn't tell us a whole lot about why he has gone to. Wait a minute. That's not what I'm trying to do there. I already did the highlighter. Okay, we want to comment. Oops. Let's get rid of that if I can. Okay, let's undo. All right, comment. There we go. Okay, so I think this is supposed to refers to why he is on the pill. However, it doesn't exactly tell us why. So I do want you to be more descriptive in your profile as to why you are going on the pilgrimage. This is more so telling us what he's doing. Or maybe he is on the pilgrimage to provide them with entertainment. I'm not really sure based off of what this says. Is he on the journey to provide entertainment? All right. Like I said, I would want for you to be more clear in yours. I'm more clear in mine. All right, now let's go back up to the very top. And in the very top, I'm going to highlight again. And here, we're using the word Miller. And remember that the requirement for this profile is that you, at least in the very beginning, you use a descriptor. So the Miller is a descriptor. And what I mean by that is that this is a noun that Chaucer is using to describe the man. Okay. So you'll see what I use in mine. And then, so we have the descriptor, we have the reason why he's on the pilgrimage, and now we're looking for two more things, which is his physical traits and his personality traits. So I'm going to go with the color purple for physical, for the physical traits. Okay, he was very strong of muscle and also of bone. He was stoutly built, a large framed fellow. So we've got that one there. He was very strong of muscle and also of bone. His beard was as red as any sow or fox, and moreover as broad as though it were a spade. And then on his nose, he had a wart with a tuft of hairs that were red. And then his nostrils were black and wide, which means his nostrils were probably pretty big. And he wore a sword on his side, and he had a huge mouth. Okay, so now I am going to put all of that in as a comment. Well, not all of it, but a good chunk of it as a comment. All right. So long story short, the Miller is actually, let's do this. The Miller is um a big guy. He's muscular. He has a red beard. Let's say he has a big red beard because they said it was as big as a shovel. He has a big red. He has a oops. He has a big red beard. A mm, and a wart on his nose that has red hair coming out of it. It's kind of gross sounding, actually. Um, what else did they tell us about his appearance? He carries around a sword. Now, I'm assuming it's for protection, but also he kind of gives off this energy that he's maybe like a tough guy. And I'll get into that in a minute. He carries around a sword. His mouth is physically pretty big. And then I'll get to why I said physically in a minute. Okay, so the next markup is going to be for personality. So we've already gotten his physical characteristics out of the way. And actually, where it says stout fellow, um, that also was a physical characteristic, but I did not highlight that. Okay. So he was a loudmouth and a buffoon, and that was mostly obscenities of harlotry. He would take payment. He had a thumb of gold indeed. Okay, where it says he wore a white coat and blue hood, that also could have been used for physical traits, but I'm moving on. So at wrestling, he would always take the prize. Now I'm wondering, let's do this. He would leave the door off his hinges or break it by running at it with his head. Um, at wrestling, he would always take the prize. All right. So what's in blue is considered to be something that reveals his personality. And so I'm just going to do one large text like I did before. All right. So we know that the Miller um, is a jokester because they call him a buffoon. And he's a jokester who likes the company of women because here it says that he mostly deals in harlotry, meaning that he frequents places that have prostitutes. Okay, so the Miller is a jokester who likes the company of women. He well knew how to steal corn and take payment 3 times. And so that right there is telling me that he's a bit of a thief. I say a bit. Okay, he's a thief. And then taking payment 3 times, that sounds like he probably is like a bit of a swindler, like he takes advantage of people. So the Miller's a jokester who likes the company of women. He is also I guess we could call him a con man, or a swindler who takes advantage of others. Um, and I'm going to go back up here really quickly. And it says here that, let me see if I can move this. Okay, I think I did. I'm not sure. No, I didn't. I didn't move it. Okay. Um, Up here, it says that wrestling, he would always take the prize, which makes me think that he's a good fighter. And then it also says there was no door that he would not leave off its hinges or break it by running at it with his head. Now, I'm not sure that they're saying that I'm not sure Chaucer is saying that he actually um, literally always breaks doors with his head. I feel like he's saying if he's running at something with his head, then that means that he always goes in head first. And then if he's breaking it with his head, I guess it means his head is strong, right? So that means that he's headstrong. So maybe the Miller is a good fighter who's headstrong. Another word that we might use for someone who's headstrong is someone who's stubborn. Okay. And then the fact that he is a good fighter and he's stubborn, you might say that maybe he's a bit impulsive. Maybe he looks for a fight sometimes. So let's go here and go back and finish editing this. The Miller's a jokester who likes the company of women. He is also a con man or a swindler who takes advantage of others. He's a good fighter who goes into things head first. He may be stubborn and may be to fight, quick to fight or quick to anger. Quick to fight or quick to anger. Which means like maybe every little thing sets him off. Okay, so that's what I have gotten about the Miller based off of Chaucer's description of him. So now we're going to move on to the part that I know you really want to get to. So I pulled from this all of these um, all of this character information about the Miller, the physical traits, but also his personality traits. And so I think that moving forward for you, it would be good if the first thing that you did was to compile a list of traits that you want to share with us. Now, for your profile, you can't tell everything about yourself, right? Because you only have 20 lines. But what traits do you want to share? Keep in mind that they need to be physical traits and personality traits. So here's a picture of what I've done. These are the traits that I wanted to share with you all. I wear glasses, I'm black, brown skinned. Um, my hair is locked. And I'm pretty low key as a dresser. Like I don't really like fancy clothes. I don't wear a lot of fancy clothes. I hate the idea of wearing heels. Like I just want to be comfortable. And then as far as my personality is concerned, I'm caring, I'm motherly, I am intelligent, I am passionate about my job, I'm supportive of my friends and my family. Um, Typically, I'm pretty quiet. I am inquisitive. Inquisitive means that you ask questions, you're curious. And I like to ask big questions. So, questions about religion, about life, about death. Those really heavy questions. I love talking about those types of topics. Uh, I'm also surprisingly funny. Um, and I say surprisingly because I think that a lot of people, they see me automatically, they think that I am a serious person, but I'm pretty laid back. I am a homebody. I like to be at home. Um, I like to go out sometimes, but then it's like, okay, time to go back home. Like I'm an introvert in that way. And I'm practical, which means that I have a lot of common sense, and I'm a pretty rational person, a pretty logical thinker. Okay, so this is what I did for myself. This is my profile, all 20 lines of it, and I'm not going to do a whole bunch of like titling stuff. I'll do 3 comments, maybe, yeah, 3 comments. Okay, actually 4. All right, so first off, we have my descriptor, teacher. My descriptor. Now, your descriptor can be the student or the athlete or the daughter or the friend, the supporter. So it could be any of those things. Um, don't feel like, you have to put yourself in a box. You do have to use just one word though. Okay, so her skin was dark brown. Excuse me, her skin was a dark brown, and she wore her hair in small locks just past medium length. Always in a rush or moving much too slow, she rarely styled them. And instead, she let her hair hang loose to keep her neck warm, which is true. I really do that. Sometimes her hair was black and other times a bright red. Being nearsighted, she wore her glasses, but oft forgot them. She wore sneakers as much as possible, mostly with dress slacks and the occasional skirt, as always comfort over style. Remember, I just said that in my step one. So obviously, what I'm doing here is I am giving physical traits. Now, there are a couple of personality traits blended in with that. Like line 9, when I'm talking about how I mostly wear like pants, and that it's always comfort over style for me. So that's telling you that I am a pretty laid back person. Um, and also, let me close that up. Okay. And also, here where I said being nearsighted, she wore her glasses but oft forgot them. I'm telling you right then and there that I am a forgetful person too. Um, but because it's kind of like nestled in with the physical traits, I'm just going to consider the entire line to be about my physical traits. So, how many lines is that? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 lines. And then, of course, I could have just subtracted 9 from 1, or excuse me, 1 from 9. But anyway, so it's 8 lines that are dedicated to physical traits. I would recommend that you do about 8 lines for physical traits and maybe between 8 and 9 lines for the personality traits. Okay, still moving on to this part here. Bookstores and libraries are her favorite spaces, other than her home and her mother's place. When she spoke, it was often about her children, her own or those she teaches, or an unexpected joke. She took in a friend's dog and a cat to catch mice. She supports her friends' small businesses and for years has listened to students and offered advice when asked. And for herself, she wants to learn more about life and death, about how to be at peace, how to obtain and to sustain happiness. Okay, so this is obviously me talking about my personality traits. Okay. And I want to note here that a lot of the things that I set up here, you could kind of pick up on here. The fact that I often talk about my children, um, goes to me being motherly, or the fact that I talk about the students that I teach, goes to me being passionate about my job, or an unexpected joke. Again, sometimes I'm funny. She took in a friend's dog, which goes back to me being caring. You can probably hear him in the background. And a cat to catch mice. I love my cat. However, I did just buy him because I wanted him to like get rid of mice. So that's me being practical. She supports her friends' small businesses and for years has listened to students and offered advice. Again, this is me being supportive to my friends, but also to my students. And then remember what I said about asking big questions and being inquisitive. So these last 2 lines, for herself, she wants to learn more about life and death, how to be at peace, how to get happiness. Um, those are those big questions that hopefully we are all asking ourselves. Um, and let's see here. When she spoke, that suggests that I don't talk a lot. I mean, I know you hear me doing that right now for this example, but again, it's because it's an example. Typically, I don't talk a whole lot. I am more of a quiet person. And then bookstores and libraries are her favorite spaces. That goes back to my personality trait about being intelligent. So, a lot of the traits that I wrote down, you see here. So, when you are making your list of traits that you want to share, you should really be thinking about how you're going to convey those things. You notice that I don't outright say that I'm caring, that I'm motherly, that I'm this, that I'm that. It is indirect characterization. I am going to put a I'm going to put an example of indirect characterization. And oh, here it is. I'm going to also upload this in the directions post. And this is just a really quick overview of what indirect and direct characterization is and what that looks like. Um, and the idea is that it will help you to come up with lines for your personality traits. Again, you're not supposed to say outright that you're caring, that you're smart, that you're athletic. You're supposed to convey those things through your lines. Okay, so the last part is 2 lines here. And in those 2 lines, I am talking about why I'm on the pilgrimage, which is basically for self-fulfillment. And so she finds herself amongst the flock of folks on this pilgrimage in the hopes of finding self-fulfillment. So that's why I'm on the pilgrimage, to find self-fulfillment. So my purpose is a little bit deeper. Your purpose might be because you want to make money, or because you want to entertain, like the Miller, or because you're following behind one of the other characters. I'm not really sure. You can make that purpose whatever you want to make it. Okay. And then that's pretty much it for the description. I hope that this has helped you. Um, if you have any questions about how to, if you have any questions about how to complete this assignment, please let me know. I am here. I am available to help. And I guess that's it.